Hey, what's up guys, Melvin here with a bit of a different take on a video today. I know I did a real talk lately about how to find your main in Legion. Well, this is another real talk, and today we're going to be talking about the recent episode of Game of Thrones, Battle of the Bastards, from Season 6, Episode 9. So I thought I'd make a little video on my thoughts, reactions, and my overall feelings about the episode Battle of the Bastards. This episode is possibly one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones I've ever seen. Now, there will be spoilers throughout this entire video, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, I suggest you click away now. You will not be given another warning. A little bit about me and myself and my relation to Game of Thrones. I've been a massive fan of Game of Thrones for quite a while now. I've read the books multiple times over. I've read the short stories of Dunk and Egg multiple times over. It's the only box set show that keeps me coming back. I still prefer the books over the show, but I believe that Season 6 is one of the best seasons they've done yet. However, apart from Dawn, you greedy little bitch. I have a deep-set love of Game of Thrones because it's what kept me sane during the time my missus was pregnant. I read all 4 books leading up to the release of Dance of Dragons. When my first daughter, Florence, was born, it was the day before Dance of Dragons was due to be released. And I read all 4 books up to that point. In fact, I think I remember finishing reading A Feast for Crows in the waiting room before she gave labour while she was sleeping on the bed. Fucking crazy times, man. Game of Thrones, to me, it's a different type of fantasy, it's a different type of show, it's a different type of book, it's a different type of literature, of media. It's not your average Joe. It's very similar to Warcraft in that regard. There's no good, there's no bad, everyone's in it for their own reason, and it's up to you to decide who is the good or the bad. That being said, on with my real talk. There is spoilers, so bear that in mind. And I won't cover a lot of the things from today's show, only a few that stood out for me. The Bolton blender, which I've dubbed it, is a big part. However, that's for a different time, because I want to make a video about how that actually incorporates itself into real life. I know that the showrunners took a lot of inspiration from the Battle of Agincourt, and things like Macedonian phalanxes. And if you're interested in that sort of shit, hit me up by all means. We'll have a good, decent discussion about it. But the way the shot composition in this episode is done blew my absolute dick off. Then let's talk the Battle of the Bastards, Episode 9, the penultimate episode of this season of Game of Thrones. This was directed by the same guy who directed Hardhome in the previous season. This episode is absolutely amazing. I think that this episode was beautiful. It was crushing. It filled me with anxiety. It made me really uncomfortable from start to end. We began with Dany and her dragons, and the Masters, sorry. I think the way that shot was executed with Tyrion, not finding his feet and being very apprehensive in the face of Daenerys, was fantastic. It showed a more vulnerable side to Tyrion we haven't seen in a long time. We move then on to the camp with the Starks and the argument over tactics. And ultimately, yes, Sansa Stark is the only person who knows how Ramsay works. She doesn't know battle, however. And ultimately, as we found out, that doesn't matter in the end of things. Now, the battle itself and what happens beforehand. A lot of people don't notice this, and I've seen a lot of people arguing and bitching about this on Reddit and online. Jon completely misread his own tactics. He completely threw his tactics in the bin. They had a plan. They obviously had a plan. But the second he saw Rickon get dragged out and told to run for his forces, everything changed. Because in the scene prior, Sansa says to Jon, he's dead meat, he's been marked for death, the kid's dead, we just need to get over that fact and move on. Jon, being the emotional and warm guy that he is, he can't let go. It's his brother. So he runs out, he rides out to meet Rickon, he dismounts his horse, he goes to grab Rickon, all is lost, Rickon gets shot down. Now let me point out something. You see those crossed bodies, the flayed bodies that are burning, they aren't there for decoration, they're distance markers. The Boltons knew what they were doing. They set up those crosses in order to allow them the better ability to shoot down Stark's men. By having distance markers showing how easy and how far it is to hit Rickon, whoever came in that vicinity, i.e. Jon, would also get shot down. It made it easy for Ramsay to do so. It's not easy to hit a moving target. Okay, he was running in a straight line. He should have zigzagged. The kid is like, what, 9? 10? He wouldn't know to do that, let alone want to do it in the face of this. He would want to run to Jon. So no, I don't disregard Jon for his options. However, Davos and the cavalry, and to their certain death, it could have been avoided, but something needed to be done. Their leader was dying on the battlefield, and that is one of the most beautifully and artistic shots I have ever seen. Is the shot of Jon standing there with Longclaw, throwing his frog belt to the ground, and watching the cavalry race towards him. He knows he can't do anything. It's a very Aragorn of the Black Gates moment. This is my time. This is how it ends. And then it stops. The chaos disrupts everything. Everything dissolves into madness. There's horses trampling each other, trampling people, getting shot, getting sliced. The shot of the two cavalry units smashing into each other made me gasp for breath. That was just such a well executed shot. The crushing scene of Jon being under the mountain of bodies it made me so uncomfortable. I could feel my heart in my throat during that. It can't end like this. It can't. Jon Snow can't be crushed to death by wildling bodies. The shot of the guy with no legs climbing to the top, it was horrendous. It was everything we knew about Hardhome, fucking 10 times as worse. It was the most brutally and guttural display of medieval combat and warfare I've ever seen in a show. And to have Ramsay eaten by his own dogs at the end, pure fucking bliss. Peace!